right, we are back and better than ever with an active community guideline strike that the appeal was rejected for. I was watching the Lex Friedman interview with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and apparently the few small minor comments that I made about a certain special little medical procedure that was related to stuff that went on a couple of years ago that was compulsory and, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get certain things you can't talk about. As we can see on the screen, we can't say anything that the officials and the authorities are not already saying. We can't provide any sort of conjecture, new studies, any information that's not supported and already put out by the authorities. Any claims, contradictions to the authority guidance, yeah. And then Sean Ryan is also talking about, that he's a large podcast. He is talking about getting censored on his last little couple podcasts. If you guys want to look into that, I'm not. I mean, it's stuff to do with religion. You can guess which one. And the mentioning of the name of the central figure in the book that it's about is apparently a problem, and portions of the podcasts have been removed in multiple instances. Eli something, and then his newest one with the owner of Skinwalker Ranch. He's got a couple examples where even he's, being censored. So I have started an account on X and started to upload over there because I don't know what the future of this channel is. I'm going to try to keep it within the lines. I want to be on YouTube. I want to be talking to you guys. But we're not off to a great start for longevity. You know what I mean? We're only 2 months in, and we're already pushing the lines that we can't talk about any sort of election stuff. That's off limits. Anything that could be construed as misinformation, and I do try to pull stuff up. I'm not just shooting from the hip. Before I usually, when they're talking about something, I'm like, oh, let me confirm the things that I think I'm gonna say. Let me just try to get a source before I just start going crazy and spouting nonsense. So I'm on X, same username, Big Booty Heroes. Same for both platforms. I appreciate it if you want to watch on either platform. Most of the stuff I'm going to react to is on YouTube. There's a ton of content here. Even some of that stuff that's questionable, like some of the episodes that are censored, I got taken down even though the original source material is still up. So now I'm a little bit hesitant, and at the very least I'm going to have to remain silent during certain controversial portions, which is a real shame. And if I really feel that I have something to say, then what I'm going to have to do is just upload it over on the other platform where they let you talk a little bit more freely and openly and honestly. So, it's a bummer. Now it's double the work uploading over there and here, and but it is what it is. This is the world we live in. This is why part of the reason I started the channel was to, add my voice. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that immediately blew up in my face. Anyway, let's start it off with a song. Something that I really just heard and I was like, wow, that is awesome.
Selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul.
I can rock with that.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
Okay.
Those are rich men, those are rich men.
Oh, this is true. Tell 'em, buddy.
Some of us can't say what we absolutely know is true, and he's articulating.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Ah! Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me.
What?
People like you.
Yeah.
Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, it ain't. And it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men north of Richmond. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Damn.
Damn.
So, I can't sing. Well, I can, but you don't want to hear it. But, not only can he sing, but he said a lot of that better than I could say it. And, I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But it feels like there's some really bad things that are the wheels are just turning on in the world. And I hope that people are paying attention. I'm trying to highlight some of this stuff. And I hope that we're going to show up for not just the nation, it's just a border with a bunch of people inside of it. But if you care about your fellow Americans, you know, the path that we're going down, where we're just fighting each other, it's the only people winning are the people in power. Because as long as we're disorganized and confused and doing things to each other that aren't great, and fighting, you know, fighting over these extreme left and right versions of the same crap, just people that are I mean, not all of them want to ruin America, but if their presence in the presidential seat is so divisive that we can't have a conversation, nobody even wants to sit down and talk, there's no path forward. The only path forward, you know, I guess if you're in your 20s, your early 20s, you might not even remember this. But I'm 38 and I remember a time where bipartisanship was a real thing. I remember a time when a president didn't get in, and the first order of business was to undo all the extreme stuff that was done on the other side. And as long as you elect, what you're doing is you're yo-yoing, you're creating a pendulum. And so all you're doing is the further that we go from each other, the less forward motion we have, okay? The more side to side motion we have. And that's not progress. That's just fighting. That's just back and forth. Um, you know, this is simple physics. The fastest route is a straight line. If you start zigzagging, you're traveling a lot. You're going nowhere. So I don't know. I'm not even going to get into what I do and don't like about left and right options right now. Whether that's at the Senate level, the local levels, or the highest levels. The reality is that we just need to find someone that we can all say, wow, that makes sense to me. And on the other side, wow, that makes sense to me. Crazy that we could agree and talk and have a conversation and not wish ill upon the other person because their views are so far away from anything that we're interested in. I hope that there is a reasonable way out of this, but um, it is going to require our participation. It is going to require us caring. It's going to require people showing up and also just interaction at the local level. I mean, the internet is so I do not believe that we are as divided as it feels when you're online watching certain crazy things. News articles and censored platforms are creating the illusion that we as Americans are miles apart. And I know regular people. When I have regular conversations with regular people, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like we're miles apart. I feel like we're very close and this is doable. But as long as there's a barrier of censorship between us having conversations with each other, as long as everything goes on online, and we can't directly interact with each other, that this is, this is not going well for us on the ground floor. For the regular people of America and some other first world nations, a lot of other first world nations, things are quickly devolving into unmitigated chaos, censorship. We're not banning books, but we're banning videos, and videos are the way that people present their thoughts in a detailed manner today. Videos are used to communicate. Videos are used for socialization. People who want to listen to long-form content instead of read a book. This is just as bad as banning books. And all it takes is for someone to get their arms around the book industry and just stop publishing certain stuff. It may already be happening. We don't know exactly what's going on. But anyway, I just wanted to start off with that song. I really like it. And I really enjoyed the reactions of other people, It was just great to see. And then let's discuss, I don't know if I'm going to actually play this, but let's discuss what's going on in Hawaii. There's mysterious fires. We don't know the original cause. The water was turned off. The kids were home from school that day. I don't remember why. School was canceled. So the parents were at work. They weren't around to help the kids. So the parents were rushing home. And then you see all these burned vehicles stuck on the road. And it's like, what stopped them? The whole island didn't burn. Just a section of it burned. So what stopped these cars? And, I haven't looked on YouTube. I don't know if this content's available. But it is on the other platform where you can talk about stuff. And there's an interview with an old man on the road who said he got out of his car and walked to where there was a roadblock, and a police officer was told to block all traffic and was not using any sort of logic or reasoning, just following orders, that's the favorite type of police officer. It's great. The other thing I'm not sure if you're aware of is that the same police chief for Las Vegas shootings is also John Pelletier, Maui Police Chief, led response to Las Vegas shooting. So during the fire, they shut the water off. They were blocking traffic. I know it's an island, so you can't have outside resources. So there are people that are saying that this is the issue, but there's supplies being blocked. There's reporters that are being blocked from entering certain places. Why would they care? Why would they not allow that unless they're trying to hide something or sanitize something? It just feeds the idea of, people believing things that aren't true. Just put out real information. If you have nothing to hide, then why are you not putting out real information? And then you've got the same guy in charge of this crisis who was in charge of Las Vegas, and we saw that the police were told to wait 30 minutes. It was a big deal that the police were waiting outside for 30 minutes before they went in. They were preventing parents from going in, preventing anybody from going in. They were giving the situation carte blanche to continue to unfold. They weren't doing anything. And then you've got this response, which is very mediocre, lackluster, unimpressive, poorly handled. He doesn't want to talk to citizens. There's talks of, even if this wasn't planned, people take advantage of a crisis, especially wealthy people, because they have the assets to do so. So people are talking about how many offers that the natives are getting for their now burnt houses. They're talking about potentially insurance companies citing zoning issues for rebuilding in the same location without substantial soil remediation or something like that because of the ash. I'm not sure of all the details, and nor do I want to turn this into hours of discussion. But, what I do... You know what? I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna play this guy's video. Whatever happens.
Something very questionable, and I was debating, because should I make this video? Is that really what I should do? There's so much devastation.
A lot of people are like, well, what can we do to help? All the physical things are being helped, but what you can do is you can be that voice for us also. Blast shit on social media. Blast it. Share the pictures. Share that we lost an entire town.
The people need to know the truth, right? They do. If they knew the truth, it would change everything. And we're going to start with this one picture. This picture, right? We've all seen this picture. And we're going to start here. How come the cars were stuck? Has anybody wondered that? Was it just a traffic jam? What really happened? Well, there's this older gentleman that says that a cop was blocking it because he was taking orders. He blocked the road. Seeing the fire, doesn't have a thinking cap on, and is following orders that are deadly. Is it true? I don't know. I don't trust the news. I rather trust someone there speaking on a phone than any damn news network there is. This is what he said.
Maui police blockaded escape routes.
I went around back to Front Street, and all the cars were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. Well, it was a policeman. And I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to...
What does that really actually mean for the people? If this story is true and the roads are intentionally blocked, not allowing the people to leave, which caused this mass catastrophe, which could have totally been avoided, this is just one thing that makes no damn sense, and questions need to be asked and answers need to be given. Someone needs to be accountable. It needs to go all the way to the top. Who made that order? Because I don't know if you saw in Texas when we had that school shooting, someone gave an order to tell the cops to sit outside in the hallways, 30 minutes? Who gave that order? Is it like the same people? I don't know, but questions, we have to force answers. This is one, I got tons of them. I just want to bring this first question to everybody. We need it answered. Who's the cop who locked it down? We'll get him first. We didn't know who gave him the order. Then we go to him. We say, okay, who gave you that damn order? And then we go to them. And whoever's responsible, we'll start there.
Now, I can understand you don't have enough resources during a crisis. I get that. But allocating your resources to control the flow of people and forcing them to flee to the shore and enter the water to save their own lives versus just letting them drive their car through a man-made police installed roadblock, where I assume that the officer was threatening to arrest people if they violated the roadblock. So I don't have a good explanation. But the one thing that I would say is we should be paying attention to this, because this is the same government that stole the land from the Native Americans with smallpox blankets. If you don't want to believe that that is still within the scope of possibilities, I mean, we go into other countries and blow them up for no reason. In some cases, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Well, that didn't turn out to be true, and we bombed that country and killed a ton of people and went to war for 10 years with them, over nothing, over conjecture, over the same thing that I had my video taken down for, things that you can't prove. They're hunches. And we started a whole war about it. So we need to pay attention and make sure that this is not, even if it wasn't intentionally planned, that this is not used as a way to pry the land from the natives who live there and who have so far refused to sell, in spite of being offered grand sums of money, I'm sure. And so being in a desperate situation, not having a home, possibly having insurance companies deny you rebuild costs, they're definitely setting it up to look like it could be easily a land grab, easily taking advantage of people in a desperate situation who might need money, and we can't undo things. So if we don't pay attention and this happens and ownership changes and we're not paying attention, we can't go back and undo it. We can't go back and undo evils perpetrated on natives of Hawaii. So I hope that people are paying attention and not just using news sources that are known to be censored, and that means all the networks and pretty much all the social media platforms all compromised. If you don't believe that, then you're the conspiracy theorist, not me, because I have personally look up censorship and go read the terms of service. I only had one page of it pulled up. There's tons, and they will pull your videos if you talk about any of it. So you have to, walk carefully, and if people that are talking have to talk carefully, you are not getting unfiltered, true information. You're only getting what's allowed to be said. So I recommend, going over, in spite of the fact that it is messier, the curated side with all the ads where everything is, locked off and content moderated and all that stuff. It's very sanitized. It's very clean. It's a little bit messier over there, but you know what? The real world is messy. So it makes me feel like that's real and the rest of it is nonsense. Take that for what you will. And the other thing, we're going to tie into a post that I made that I'm just going to read, because it's so much easier for me to just read this as opposed to try to come up with it off the cuff. So I posted on there, corporations are soulless, virtue signaling parasites that live forever and give very little back. They are bedfellows with the government since they finance all the elections at almost all levels now. They have all the money, most of it. The government and corporate agenda are the same. There's an illusion of separation, but if you pay attention, it is only that, an illusion. And what I mean is, if the government is financed, at least the elected officials are fully financed and paid for by corporate money, then whose agenda are they pushing? And how much separation do you really believe there is between the two entities if all the money that feeds their campaigns and lines their pockets, because some of these people are getting rich somehow. And whether that's insider trading with insider knowledge, whether that's just some sort of payoffs, that's only the money that we know about as well. Who knows how much money is actually being kicked around up there? They are part of the system of control. As far as I can tell, they're trying to replace the church and worship of a higher power and replace it with consumption. You should believe in material worship, and the ideology is color-coded, put on the packaging so you know what products to buy if you think Karl Marx is brilliant and America is a toxic place that must be destroyed at all costs. So if you want to destroy America, then go to Target, support Bud Light, support Miller Lite, support Skittles, Listerine. The list is almost becoming too hard to keep track of, and it will continue to grow. Because underneath it all, these companies are virtue signaling to a certain consumer. And it's not Americans that love this country and want freedom to continue and free speech and all the things that we are afforded under the Constitution. Those are not the people that they're pandering to. They are counting on a mutual ecosystem of, well, we'll just ignore a large majority of the population altogether. We as corporations have plenty of money to survive. We're going to continue to fund the agenda. We're going to continue to fund change. And we're going to do so by pulling money out of the pockets of those in the public that do support us. And we are also going to kowtow people, because as an individual, if you get to the point where your children are calling you ignorant and backwards, everybody around you is calling you ignorant and backwards, you're getting censored and told to shut the F up, eventually you start to question yourself. Unless you have any sort of reinforcement that you're not, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I am a dinosaur. I guess I do need to kowtow and buy into this. So, if you think Karl Marx is brilliant and America is a toxic place that must be destroyed at all costs, these companies are not and will never be your friend. They are directly contributing to those that work against your interests. People are not grasping the scope and the complexity of the issues that we're facing here. It's not just the companies that you see the packaging on. It's all tied together, and most of them want a world where you move away from being virtuous and doing the right thing. Once you become self-centered and do whatever you want, and you have no morals, you have no compass, you're lost and confused, now you are subject to prey. You're a piece of prey for them now, because you've lost your compass. They give you a new one that points where they want north to be, not where north actually is. So this is the scope of the situation. They are trying to completely eradicate the idea of good and evil and let you make that choice for yourself until they start asking you to do things that you would never do. But since you've kind of compromised your morality anyway, now, well, who cares? Yeah, I'll do whatever. I no longer have any guiding principles. So that's my theory on how this all comes together. I really don't know. The other thing that we're doing, right? Let me play this. This is the last thing I'm going to get into on this section of things. But I'll just play this.
Cleanup,
this
a
actually ties
non-profit
in.
organization, has removed 200,000 kilograms of plastic debris from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch during the first cleaning deployment of 2023. The specially designed cleaning system and AI-powered cameras are used to extract waste from the ocean. And during the first waste extraction drive of the year, they were able to extract 6,260 kilograms of waste, including fishing-related plastic waste. The system moves slowly beneath the ocean to protect marine wildlife, and the company aims to recycle the collected plastic waste and transform it into durable plastic products. The project was launched in 2013 with the goal of cleaning up 90% of floating plastics in the ocean by 2040, using a 2.4 kilometers long barrier to expedite the cleaning process. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is 3 times the size of France and receives plastic waste from Asia, South America, and North America.
Okay, so corporations are driven by money. And that's, why they virtue signal. They have no principles. They just want money. That's what they're driven by. That's their guiding principle in all cases. They're a capitalist corporation. This is their blood, money, to survive. They're not a human. They don't have a body. They are a financial institution that makes money. As long as we incentivize them to overproduce, we live on a finite planet. Capitalism is predicated on infinite growth. We never shut down factories unless there isn't a demand. As long as there's a demand, we produce every day. Whether or not there's 100,000 plastic bottles on the shelf already or not, we're producing. Same thing with any industry. Everybody's got a phone in their pocket. We're still making phones like no one's got a phone. I mean, we are making them as fast as we can. And people are consuming them as fast as they can. So this is just the plastic in the ocean. But consumption, overconsumption, and overproduction is what is truly polluting the world. It's not the method of production. It's not where the power comes from. It's not coal. It's your incessant desire to buy a new vehicle every couple years, to use disposable straws, paper plates, to buy a new phone, to just consume and feed the beast that produces all this. So the solution that we're being presented with is just conceptualize this. Let's throw out the power grid, all the production facilities, and let's build more. So that's more waste right there. In addition to the waste of getting rid of the current existing facilities so that we can continue to consume at the highest level without looking at our own responsibilities at all, we should be able to live exactly the way we live. We just convert the power grid over to renewable energy, and now we're good to go. We can just go hog wild, no problems with the system whatsoever. Well, the system's underpinnings are perpetual growth and consumption and production, which produces waste. No matter how clean you get it, you're still going to have byproducts of waste. You're still going to have battery systems to do with the electrical power production grid, especially if it's solar. You're going to have battery systems to store it overnight. There's waste associated with batteries. Lithium batteries have a pretty short lifespan if they're being charged and discharged. So without addressing the underlying system, we can clean up the power grid. We can, do all these feel-good measures that everybody says we spend billions and trillions of dollars and we're going to fix the whole thing. But if we don't address the consumption, then the corporate waste, because the corporations are the biggest polluters, it's not really the individual. We are not the problem, but we are the problem because we consume from the problem. We continue to finance the problem. We continue to incentivize these people to behave badly and make choices that are financially driven. They're not driven by what's good for the environment, what's good for the planet. They virtue signal because they want to look altruistic and good, but they're not. They're ultimately going to be driven by the bottom line. You saw Bud Light try to save the thing by putting out an American commercial with the flag and Clydesdales and all this crap. And it's just like, oh, well, now we're panicking. Now we've alienated both sides. Now we were allies for a minute, and then we alienated the other side. Now we're panicking, and now we've made everybody mad because we're trying to play both sides. So with that said, the point is that in order to generate true reform, if you believe that the corporations and the political agendas in the government are tied together in at least some way, at least through the money, at least through the financing, they're tied together. So the government is actually an extension of corporations, not the other way around. The government is the lawmaking branch of corporations that allows them to operate in impunity and do whatever they want and change laws when they need to because they finance the whole operation. The government is pretty much beholden to them. Then change has to start financially with the corporations at the individual level. The easiest way to change the system is to focus on the finances of these companies, to focus on who you are buying products from in any situation that you can, avoiding anyone who is clearly demonstrating that they are part of this agenda, was beneficial to the U.S. And it's also beneficial to not buy Chinese goods because there's another big problem that's coming down the pipeline. Maybe they'll never touch Taiwan, but geez, their military buildup and the things that they're doing and the rhetoric inside the country that's saying prepare for war with the U.S. in the Pacific. They continue to claim that the South Pacific is Chinese national waters, even though it's international shipping lanes. They're doing a lot of posturing, and I don't think it's all hot air because they are also setting themselves up with resources. They're making relationships with countries that we used to make that are economic partnerships. They're loaning money. We go in and our new foreign policy is just to blow shit up. But it used to be to go in and provide economic aid because we were so wealthy that we had the resources to do that. So we'd go in and we'd just build schools. We wouldn't blow the country up first. We weren't the military industrial complex machine that we are today. We'd actually go in and do good things without destroying and colonizing. And China is basically doing that, but they do have a little subversive tactic where they loan you more money than you probably should be loaned. And in exchange for non-payment, if you can't meet the terms and the repayment, then they just take some land. They take a pound of flesh. Then they build a military base on it. And now they've got a presence on, you know, a lot of different places. A lot of different places they've loaned money. A lot of places they've gone in and built infrastructure to mine minerals out of the ground and drill for oil, water rights, agriculture, buying land in different places so they have a diversified food source. If there's a drought in China, their people aren't going to starve. They are playing the long game. And we are resting on our laurels and our past achievements like the clock's never going to run out. Like we're always going to be on top. And that's just simply not the way things work. If you want to remain on top, you have to remain competitive. You cannot stagnate. And that is exactly what we're doing. We are just fighting with each other over nothing. And the countries that used to look up to us as a beacon of hope in the world, that not everywhere was corruption and bribery and propaganda and a lot of things that are not good for us. So again, we got to just focus on taking this one step at a time. I know it feels overwhelming. Don't give up. Just do what you can, even if it's only one, even if you only contribute one act. If we all do one act, that's 300 million acts. You know, I don't know if that's the number of adults, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. It is a big effect. We need to create a groundswell. And I don't think that this is a left or right issue. What I'm saying is we need moderation and unity. So I'm not saying go for the far left or the far right guy. I am saying let's try this election to find and identify people that we can vote for who we agree with. Let's try to get back to the point where we can talk civilly with our neighbors about politics. And we're not just bad-mouthing each other. Personal insults are so pathetic. You know, you can't have a debate. You're not educated. You're just like, your guy's bad. My guy's good. Most people don't know all that much about their guy, and they know even less about the other guy because they just don't care. They want to exist in their little echo chamber, and they all want to, you know, reverberate off each other and say, yeah, we're the good guys. There's no good guys and bad guys, okay? We're all Americans. Get over this whole team thing. You want teams, go watch football. Politics, playing politics like this where we're fighting each other is you're just harming yourself. You're cutting off your nose to spider face. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. We're going to jump into a Sean Ryan podcast reaction. Brandon Fugel, owner of Skinwalker Ranch, we're going to do that next. That episode was supposedly censored by YouTube, so I'm going to take a chance and watch it and react to it. It's 2 parts. I'm going to react to the first part. If anything gets crazy, I probably won't post it, but as long as there's nothing, you know, questionable, I'll probably just skip anything where I'm like, oh, that's one of the banned topics. But that's where we're at. That is where we're at. So it's really kind of a sad situation to be facing. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care. I'm not suicidal. I would never kill myself.